What are you doing? You're fast. Well, don't bang into the tank. I gotta get a look at you and make sure you're healthy. Where are you going? Oh, he hates it. Oh, my poor little guy needs a bigger tank. Binks, Geralt needs a bigger tank. Soon. You don't want to hang out with me, huh? You're a big shy guy, huh? Fast guy. He says I'm fast as fuck, boy. There he goes. Alright, Geralt. I gotta go back to work. I'll see you later. You hiding? Okay. Bye, buddy. He's right behind this plant. Right there. Hey you guys, it's me, Lemel, from ADHD Aquatics. I have some bad news and some good news and some I don't know news. Okay, so bad news first. There was a mishap with Geralt. Good news is I think we fixed him. The I don't know news is we have to wait to see if he's gonna be okay. But I think he'll be okay. I think he's like 90% gonna be okay. It depends on how I take care of him from here. So, I feel like I have to put this in the beginning of the video before this footage. But basically what happened was, me and my husband came home from work today and took a little nap on the couch after eating some leftover pizza. And then it was like nighttime and we were like, hey, you want to go see Datnoid before we go to bed? He was like, yeah, let's go see Datnoid. So we go down there and we're happy to see him. And we were going to get some little fish, some of my spare guppies or some of my fry fish, like some of my like random ones that I have around, you know, like you do. And feed it to him because I know all my fish have been treated. All my fish have had 3 rounds of levamisole, antibiotics, and antifungals and everything, so I'm not worried about using my own personal fish as feeder fish. So we go in there and we see a fish tail sticking out of his mouth. And at first I thought it was a shrimp because he kind of darted away real quick. Look, Neon Tetra schooling. And I was like, no, that's not the shrimp. Because how would he get that big old shrimp in his mouth anyway? That was an autocat. He had an autocinklus in his mouth. And the tail was sticking out. We sat down there for about 10 minutes and watched him. And like right away I was like, that's an autocinklus tail. And I was like, oh, it's fine because there was only 2 in here anyway. And I have like 40 of them in the 75 gallon. And I'm not worried about it. It's not like I'm short on autocats. And I mean, it's too late now. The thing's dead. So it's not like I had a full school in that 150 gallon. Those are just the 2 I couldn't catch, right? So we stayed down there, and the tail was still sticking out of his mouth, and it wasn't like moving. And I was like, oh heck, is he choking? So I had my husband Google, like, can datnoids choke? And he was reading on forums for a while, and he read one comment that said that datnoids can be greedy and that they can choke on a catfish, especially since a catfish has barbs. Look, here's the one guppy I was trying to tell you has like tumors on it. Oh, come on. Look, see it? Oh, there he goes. He really looks like he has tetracolor granules in his tail. Those are like internal to his body, but they leave like a physical lump on the outside. They're like a pussy yellowish orange color. Sorry. Back to what we were doing. So as soon as he read that comment, I was like, oh heck. And then I was like, okay. I was like, so I'm watching Geralt, and I'm telling my husband, okay, Google how can you tell if a fish is choking? And like, obviously I know what a fish looks like with ammonia burn, but I've never seen a fish like actually choke except for, where's he at? There is one swordtail in here, the big giant one. When I feed the pellets, he'll get them stuck. When I feed these are like really hard pellets. They don't like dissolve and get soft. He'll put one of these in his mouth and then like open his mouth like he's gagging, and like, but he'll spit it out. And the pellets will get soft over time, so I'm not too worried about him choking on it. But he wasn't doing like that, like where he was opening his mouth real wide trying to get it out. He was kind of just like sitting still and breathing like normal or whatever. So my husband has taken a while to like Google this, and probably he was taking a reasonable amount of time. I was probably just having an anxiety attack, and my panic was setting in, and I was having a whole fish emergency. So I decided that's it. I don't care like if he's choking or not. I don't want, like, obviously that was too big of a fish for him, and obviously it's stuck, so we need to get it out. So I decided in my head while my husband was searching that that's it, we're getting it out. So we're gonna get the ladder, we're gonna get the tweezers, and we're gonna catch him, and we're gonna pull it out. So I said, babe, go get the tweezers. They're in any pair of tweezers. There should be a pair in the fish room or something. And I set up the ladder, and then I started working on it. And the first attempt we weren't filming. He was just holding the flashlight for me. And then I was like, okay, hold on, better idea. This could be educational. So film it with the flash on, and that will help me. I'll be able to see it, and we'll be able to get it on film. I haven't looked at the footage yet, but the pair of aquascape and tweezers I was using, they don't get a good grip on anything. They're garbage. So I told him, I said, all right, go upstairs and get me a real pair of tweezers, like the kind that you see me using on my face, and I'll hold Geralt. So we ended up getting it out. My husband had a good idea of holding Geralt like with my hand and squeezing him. He said it's the same thing as like taking a hook out of a fish's lip, and I've never done that before. The last time I went fishing, I was a young lad. Not really, that's just something funny I say. I was born a female, and I've always been a female, a woman, a girl. My gender and my sex has always been female for me. But I just say young lad because I think it's funny. Anyway, and since, you know, I was a child, like 5 years old, and like, I think my parents knew I had ADHD, they just didn't know what it was, because my dad literally used to just call me Butterfly, because I'd be in the middle of doing something, and I would just like stop doing whatever I was doing and chase a butterfly. Like, I've chased butterflies out into traffic before. I've stopped in the middle of catching a ball to catch a butterfly, or to go chase a butterfly, and got hit in the face with the football and stuff, like. So they didn't trust me with stuff like that, because, you know, I get too excited, I get jumpy, I get anxious, I can't sit still, I'm chasing butterflies, whatever. So taken is wrong, just in case you didn't know. I've never taken a fish hook out of a fish before. So when he was like, wrap your hand around him and squeeze him, I was like, okay, well, that in a perfect world, that's great, but like, touching fish makes me uncomfortable. Like, I don't mind holding like the betta fish and stuff in my hand, or like picking them up with my hand, but if I have to hold them for like an extended period of time, like If I pick a fish up and I'm holding it in my hand and I'm not dropping it into a tank or a cup immediately, I'm like starting to gag. I just don't like it. It makes me nervous that I'm hurting their slime coat and stuff. So, especially if I gotta squeeze them, and I've never had to do this on a big fish before. Like, whenever I have to move my big catfish, I take a plastic bowl and, like, put it over the catfish and then slide a plate under it, like how you would catch a spider in the house. Like, I am terrified to touch them. Not terrified, but, like, it gives me, like, heebie-jeebies. The big swordtail that I said is always choking on stuff is back here. You see him? He's sneaky. So anyway, I wrapped my hand around him and was squeezing him. Not hard, but like enough to where he wasn't going to be like flapping and stuff, I guess, you know? So then I was like, okay, the catfish is definitely stuck because it has like the spines or the barbs or whatever on it, the AutoCat. So my husband was like, all right, well, why don't you twist it? And I'm like, all right, great idea. So we did that and we ended up getting it out, and like my hands were shaking the whole time. It was traumatic, and I let Geralt go, and then like afterwards I held him and I was like, you're gonna be alright, bud. I looked him in his face and I was like, you're gonna be alright, it's fine. And I let him go, and then he laid down on the bottom, kind of like how he laid on the bottom when we first caught him from the fish store. And I dumped in, I don't know, a handful of aquarium salt. Like, I had this bin down there and just shook some in. It was maybe like 7 tablespoons in a 150 gallon plus 40 gallon sump. I don't think it was a substantial amount, but I'm pretty sure the inside of his mouth is hurt a little bit, and I might have hurt his slime coat and hurt a couple of his scales. I don't think there's any permanent damage because fish are pretty resilient, and like, you know, he might be a little roughed up from me holding him and like pulling that out of his mouth, but I was very careful with the tweezers not to like pinch his lips or anything. So I think he only sustained like stress from being pulled in and out of the water. Like the first attempt when we were trying to figure out everything, we were like handling him a little bit and I kind of had him out of the water a little bit, but like after like the first 5 minutes I let him just relax in the net and like sit down in the water and just let him chill out and catch his breath for a second. So other than me handling him, like I think I was holding him like close to his eye. Like I don't know if I touched his eye or not. I hope his eye is okay. But fish are pretty resilient and they can regrow like a lot of body parts. So I'm not like too terribly worried about it. I hope he doesn't get an infection or anything. So I'll be doing a water change tomorrow, probably a big one. And I'll just be making sure. While my husband was Googling all that stuff, I ended up putting like these little platies. We had fry like a couple weeks ago, and they're not growing. Oops, they're there. They're not growing really fast because I'm not doing like a lot of big water changes or heavy feedings right now. I'm just in like bare minimum maintenance mode while I'm building my fish room. So like once a week I do like 50 to 80% water change. So I'll bring it like all the way down to here. Oops, where am I at? All the way down to here. This is a 75. And then up. I think I've only skipped 1 week since I started building the fish room, but yeah, so these platies aren't growing very fast, but I had some fry in the sump, so I just netted them out and put them in Geralt's tank. I figured, you know, a fish this size is fine for him. He swallowed an AutoCat. Well, you'll see it in the footage next. He swallowed an AutoCat that was as big as these ones, and they don't look too big, but considering they have spines and stuff and they're spiky and they only go in one way and don't come out the other, I just didn't think it was right. I don't know if I should have pulled the AutoCat out, like if it would have resolved itself, but I don't think he has a mechanism to swallow. I think like his mechanism to swallow is kind of like how bass do it. They open their mouth really fast and really wide, and it creates this vortex in the water that pulls the fish or whatever he's trying to swallow into his mouth with like the motion of the water. I don't think he has a mechanism in his throat to push food down. But while I was looking down inside of his mouth, I kind of seen like some crazy teeth, kind of like backwards teeth. So I was like, I don't know. But the catfish was before that part. So he was in like Have you ever seen a datnoid open its mouth, or a bass or anything? There's like these secret flappies that you can't see when the fish's mouth is closed. That's where the catfish was stuck. He was stuck in like the secret flappies before the backwards teeth. Like, when I say before, I mean forward of the backwards teeth, between his lips and the backwards teeth. So it wasn't at the point where the backwards teeth could pull it backwards, if that makes any sense. I'm not so good at articulating the thoughts in my head because I'm a visual learner, so if I sound stupid when I'm talking about stuff, like, I'm actually not, okay? I'm really smart inside of my head. I know what I'm talking about. I just not so good with words. But, like, I know what's going on. I'm just not. I mean, it's obvious I know what's going on. You can look and see all the stuff I've built for the fish room. I have slightly more than basic knowledge of plumbing and electrical. And, like, fish stuff. I wouldn't say expert, but I'm, like, maybe 2 chickas above a beginner. Alright, I'll end this, because this was a 14-minute rant, and all I really had to say was, hey, he swallowed an AutoCat, and we pulled it out. Enjoy the video. But, you know, it's your girl. Alright, bye. That's the auto sinkless.
What? There was an auto sinkless in there?
Yeah. The cherry barb is still in there.
And you hunted it?
Yeah, you hunted it.
Well, so much for thinking he's hungry.
It's alright. I would have never been able to catch the auto sinkless. There's only...
Look at that big ass shrimp.
Where's the shrimp at?
Right there.
Oh, I gotta get it out. Hold on. It's gonna... There it goes.
It's in a really tough spot, huh? Oh. That thing's quick.
I'll never be able to get it. We have to wait till it's out on the left side of the tank.
Yeah.
It's already recording. And I put the camera on the right side right here, because you're left-handed. Did you start to swallow it? It's like he's opening his mouth so I can get it for him, but like...
Well, you gotta keep him from flapping around.
I don't know how.
Wrap your hand around him.
I don't want to hurt him. Oh, fuck.
What?
It's like really caught. I don't want to hurt him. It is. It's got his barbs.
What if you spin the catfish to the side?
You had to unwrap the barbs?
I mean, yeah. Instead of just pulling the catfish straight back, if we try to rotate the catfish.
Catch your breath, catch your breath.
Good job, babe. You got the catfish out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy shit.
No more catfishes for Geralt. Did
Here,
we get
film him, babe. Film him.
from Geralt swimming?
Yeah. You alright, buddy?
Yeah, he's good.
Okay, get ready to film going down in the tank. Alright, now, oh my god. I am shaking, dude.
So are we gonna get the
look
other
at
quarter
me.
cat out, or did we get it already?
Yeah, look at me shaking.
Yeah, but you did it.
Babe,
So now you got Geralt the Datnoid, and you got Mr. Pleco.
yes. Alright, now, where is